Konami Studios.
Iron Man issue number 4. This book continues to be incredible. And anybody who still doesn't like the way it's headed or what it's doing, stop, because you're wrong. This is literally perfection personified for a modern Tony Stark story. This is everything the character needed. Not even a back to basics anymore. It's like, yeah, we're calling him out for all his shit. He's dealing with the consequences of all his own actions. The world doesn't want him. They don't need him. That's where we're at in this book, and that's where Tony Stark needs to be. So we open up this book, and we see that James Rhodes has gone missing. Somebody has kidnapped him. Some news reporters are hassling Stark about it. Like, do you care at all? Like, aren't you going to do something about it? Are you going to use any of your resources? And they don't know the whole thing. Like, Tony thinks it's Korvac that kidnapped him. We get confirmation of that later because they're trying to draw out Tony. He's like, he can't say that shit on television, so he just looks like a bigger dick. He goes back to the apartment where we see Patsy is sitting on a couch and she's kind of distant and a little bit off. And they're trying to figure out some movement. Like, they know that Korvac's trying to lure them out to hunt them because now they're a liability for his plans. And Patsy's like, man, Korvac sounds pretty smart. You know, is he as smart as you? And, you know, Tony kind of dodges the question, not wanting to answer it. But we see the consequences of last issue and what happened to Patsy when she was attacked by that lightning. And it left a huge scar on her face that looks like it's still like a little bit simmering and glowing. So there's something about it that's going a little bit weird in there. And she's getting really pissed off at Tony. And Tony's like, it's not that bad. We can get you fixed up. It's okay. And I really like this because she's like, Korvac killed a bunch of the Avengers once a long time ago. So maybe we shouldn't rush in here without the big guns. We should do something good about it. And I like it too. She's just so willing to be like, this is not what we should be doing. There's so many bad things about this. And you're even worried about looking bad in front of the cameras because this is going to be your fault somehow. You want it to be your fault. You helped pay for this android, so you think somehow you're responsible for what happens to it, and it's going to always come back to you, and that's why things always end up bad. And Tony just keeps going like, no, this isn't my fault. Why does everything that happened have to be my fault? Yeah, I invested in the android, and yeah, he might be smarter than me, but sometimes it's not my fault, and why do you always have to do this to me and, like, say that kind of stuff to me? She's like, well, I like the guy underneath all this. There's something about you that's actually pretty good, and I kind of think that's an interesting angle to play. But then, of course, forget all that because they start to make out, and they go crazy in the bedroom, and you're like, really? Well, I get the urge to do this. I would have done the same thing if I was writing it, but I'm like, I don't know if I like it. I don't think it's bad because I think they're both these really vulnerable people who understand the actions of their hubris and things that have happened to them. And I think to get through to Tony Stark, sometimes you have to play a certain role to him to understand things. I just don't know if I want to see this being a thing going forward. Now, I get it. I like it more than I like Janet being with Tony, but this is still a little weird to me. I don't think it's going to be something that lasts, but they do hook up, so you got to get used to that. So we cut to Korvac, and he does have James tied up, and all the villains are like, oh, we'll be fine. We need to enact our plans. And the plan is kind of like, they need to go to Ta 2, which Ta 2, or Ta II is how it's said in the book. That is the ship that Galactus used to come to this reality. And Korvac's like, yes, my destiny lies on Ta II, and we're going to have to go there and get it. And Rhodes is like, I don't got time for this. Galactus isn't going to take your shit, and if you want to be taken seriously as a villain, lose the goatee. You look like a fucking idiot. Rhodes just doesn't really care, and they're just like, all right, so let's just leave him here. Maybe Tony will come get him or not, but we got to enact the rest of our plans, so let's go get that on board. And it's kind of like getting to the ship, the Ta II. Korvac can use his power to, like, broadcast his gospel across the entire, like, universe, and he'll, like, somehow control it again, but it's going to suck all the energy out of Earth to do it, which is kind of a big deal, and I'm kind of curious to see how that's going to be. So we're in the post-sexual encounter of Patsy and Tony. They're talking in bed, and Tony's like, yeah, we're going to have to do this a way that's kind of low-key and we can't be seen. So we can't call the Avengers or the Fantastic Four or any of the X-Men. And as that's happening, Patsy starts to be able to, like, hear a voice in her head, and you think, like, oh, is she having another one of the episodes of potential schizophrenia? But no, this is the voice of Korvac in her head, and she's just hearing him. It's like, okay, they're about to do something. I guess, like, the scar on the side of her face is somehow connected to Korvac. And we see them setting up, like, these big neural things for Korvac to use when he's getting his power done. He's getting shirtless, and he's hooked up to all this stuff. And all the villains are turning it on. They see him just go crazy and like, yes, all this unlimited power, you know, classic Palpatine shit going on pretty much. So then Tony and Patsy are walking down the streets. They're trying to find this one guy who should be able to help them get off the grid so they can't really be seen. They're walking down the street of Philly, and suddenly Patsy has this like weird attack happen to her, and the lights go out everywhere, and it's like, uh-oh. She knows what it is. It's like, oh shit, they're calling Galactus, and Tony's starting to freak out. I love Cafu's artwork, man. I keep bringing that up, but this looks gorgeous. Just some of the shots of some of these characters are insane. It's just so cool. So they find Halcyon, I think is how you pronounce his name. He's a mutant that's kind of part machine, and he's like, I think he's deaf, so it's like they're talking through the sign language kind of thing, and it's kind of interesting to see that. And it's like, okay, so we need your help to like get us off the grid, and we need to have all these people saved in case something happens. And he's like, all right, well, we'll have to see what's going on there. But as they're having that conversation with Halcyon, we see that Patsy kind of like glitches out, and she's going really powerful with the energy, and Korvac is controlling her. She attacks Tony, and everything bad's about to happen. And I like it. Like, everything's going... You think Patsy's going to die again here. And I hope they don't kill Patsy. I don't think that's where this book is going to go. But it kind of gives off that vibe of something that's happening there. This was just a fun book. So it kind of ends when we see Patsy's knocked out again. And Tony's like, all right, you know that list of people I wanted you to protect? Maybe you should put yourself on that list because a lot of shit is about to come down. And we don't really know how to deal with it. So it's a fun book. I enjoy the hell out of this series. I think it's incredible. I think everybody should read it if you want to get a good Tony Stark book because it is so intensely fun and cool. I cannot wait for more of it. Every time this book comes out, I'm eager to read it, and I'm very excited that it exists. So Iron Man issue number 4, I'm going to give a 10 out of 10. Now, thank you guys so much for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, all that good stuff. And I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.